You might be looking at the situation that you're in right now and you're thinking, God's got me in a prep season. I'm here to remind you, he's also got you in a free season. Peter is learning something every single time. You've got him learning how to walk on water from the place of drowning. He denies Christ, not once, not twice, but 3 times. You're saying, how does this relate to me? Well, I don't know. Maybe you're going through your second divorce. Maybe for you, you're dealing with this addiction for the last 10 years that you thought you would never still be dealing with. Angels will do things for people that people can't do for themselves. And reflection discovers more of heaven and of God in the great moments of our lives than what was visible to us while we were actually living through them. You know what without a doubt can mean? With faith. It's not about strong faith or weak faith. It's not about which one's better than the other. You all have faith. You just might be putting it in the wrong things. Since he brought me out of prison, now God can do. Since God healed my sickness, since God resurrected my marriage, since God protected me during COVID, since God healed me, since God graced me for this, I know that no matter what comes my way, God has me under his hand. You gotta look back. It's supposed to be, come to your senses.
Wow, wow, wow.
Wow, wow, wow.
That's what you say when you don't know what to say. You just put a wow, wow, wow.
Wow,
yeah. Because that was good, y'all.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Tim did an amazing job. Do you think Tim or Pastor yells more when they preach?
I plead the fifth.
It's hard to say. But he did a great job. So let us know in the chat, just something that you're taking away from Tim's message, maybe something that you're just thinking about this week or even a practical application that you're using. And we're gonna spend some time this morning just talking about that for ourselves. So for you guys, what's one thing that you're like, this is what I'm really like working through this week from that?
There was a part towards the beginning of the sermon where he said, he was talking about values and he was talking about, you know, just speaking to the people that maybe haven't reintegrated into church again and serving again, which by the way, you 100% should. Let me just say that. If you live close to a campus, you 100% should. If you're EFAM all around the world, you should 100% get connected to serving again. But he was talking about values and he said, if your values aren't vocal or visible, they're not a value. And I thought that was so powerful because how many times for us, our values remain and just stay in our head, in our minds. And we know that it's a value, but we don't really take any intention, any intentionality to actually live out some of those principles that we believe in. And so I thought that was really powerful and very convicting. It made me think about how many of my values have just stayed in my mind. And I haven't had we talked a lot about this on staff of like the difference between having good intentions and being intentional. And so I think he spoke to that at a very practical level.
Sure, and I think that is the difference between knowing something is valuable and having something as a value. Are two really different things as well. We know that, we all know that we ought to eat our vegetables and drink more water. Like we know that is the thing.
No one's arguing that.
I just haven't had broccoli in a long time. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while. And I think that was one of the first things that jumped out to me as well, Zeus, was just like that point. I think Tim did such a great job articulating that. Where like in the most practical, everyday places in your life. And I think sometimes when you're hearing sermons, it can be difficult sometimes to interpret how that applies to me. And this is great for Sunday and I can jump and shout about it, but Monday, how do I live it out? And this is what I love about our house is that especially for the pastors here who are communicating, Pastor Steven, Tim, Holly, LB, no matter who it is, I always walk away and I'm like, they gave us something very practical that's almost a tool for you to be able to immediately use in your life. And it really is that difference between, is that a value of mine or is it just something that I recognize is valuable?
That's great.
Fantastic.
Mrs. H said, Jesus is not your jewelry, he's your oxygen.
Yeah, that was a banger.
And I thought that was like such a profound thought. And then also like I love the way that Tim even used going to church as an example. Like I think he kind of put it more in a parental vibe, but like when you tell people like your faith and church is a priority for you, but you're showing up once every 6 weeks. And that's not to like shame anyone. Everyone's going through different things, but like like you have to like, if my faith is important to me, I have to make an effort to put myself around godly people, to put myself in church and be in the Bible and doing that kind of stuff. So I can't, like, you got to walk the walk and talk the talk kind of thing. And so I thought that was great.
For sure, yeah. One thing that spoke to me was the whole hindsight is 20/20 part when he was saying like, you can live with faith, you can live without a doubt, but you have to look back. You have to look back. And the way I would like translate that in Christian terms would be like, you have to look at God's faithfulness in order to have faith for the future, right? Like, I think as Christians, we can suffer from short-term memory loss.
Hey, talk about it.
We forget what God did yesterday.
Talk about it.
I think that's why it's important to, you know, have your journals. It's important to remember. It's important to share your testimony, because it's important to read your Bible. When you see what God has done, it can give you confidence for what he can do today, what he can do tomorrow. So
that's great.
Let's talk about that, because for me, you know, there was this kind of like theme interwoven throughout the entire sermon of, especially when he was talking about come to your senses. It says, and that whole wordplay of sense and then since the angel opened the door and then it was really this idea of remembering, and that to me was so powerful. I think oftentimes revelation looks like remembering.
That's good.
Breakthrough looks like remembering what God has already done.
Totally.
The doors that he has already opened in our lives. And remembering that, like, one, I already have the entire Word of God. Anytime I doubt on what God thinks about me, I have the Bible. I don't have to like look for, God, I need a sign. Yeah, it's your Bible. It's collecting dust on your shelf.
It doesn't change.
It doesn't change. So like revelation oftentimes looks like just remembering the things that God has done. What he has already said. And then when he said the first point, remember the church, to know I am not by myself. I thought that was just so powerful to know.
That's amazing.
There's an entire community that is with me. And this is why we do CoffeeFam. This is why we come on every single Sunday to remind you, wherever you're at. Some of you guys probably watch church alone from your bedroom, alone from a coffee shop, to know, hey, on the other side of the screen, there is more people. And we are with you. You are not by yourself. Remember the church. Remember the church.
I think this is why it's so, one of my favorite verses in the Bible, I believe Jeremiah, who wrote the book of Lamentations chapter 3, where he says, this I recall to my mind, and therefore I have hope. Right? And so part of the battle with, I think, so many of us when we're going through the everyday things that we're going through is I'm trying to have faith, but I really do think it's difficult to have faith when you don't have hope.
100%.
And so sometimes you taking the time to simply remember what God has done for you in the past, by recalling things to your mind, your hope is restored, your hope is invigorated. And I think some of us, if we just did something practical, like recalling to your mind that before I start my day, before I get into the emails, before I deal with my kids, before I do anything else, let me think about some of the stuff God did yesterday. While I go through my day to day, why don't I start jotting some of this stuff down that, oh man, this is a little nugget here and a little thing here and a little thing here. And you'll realize your day full of little things over here, little things over there. You'll get to the end of your day and have all of these different ways that God practically showed up in your life on an everyday basis, so that when the next thing comes, because the next thing is coming,
always,
the next trial, the next something or another, every time, like my wife and I were sitting down the other day and we were like, man, things have been going really good with the kids. And I was like, shh.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
That's so real.
Be in the emergency room or like something. Somebody's about to go knock on our door. So, like something's gonna happen. Something will always happen. That's part of life. But I think when those moments happen, we have a practical, conscious decision to make. Which is, am I going to focus all of my attention on what this circumstance is, or am I going to do what it says in Lamentations 3? Recall to my mind and immediately trigger the hope that I know that I have based on all of the ways God has made for me in the past.
You get to stir up your own faith. Where it's like, I think a lot of times we want other people to encourage us, and other people are like, God, help me feel better, help me do this. And God's like, I've done all this for you. Like, look at it. Holly and Pastor got a couple of us Christmas gifts a few years ago of like a jar where we would write down like every day something we were grateful for and just put it in there. And the other day I was just like looking through it and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot God did this. I forgot God did this. And that was one version of that. Journaling's great. There's lots of ways you can do it, but it's incredible to like build those little like, if it's a churchy word, but like Ebenezer's.
Absolutely.
Where you can look back and say like, man, God has come through for me in so many different areas. Why would he not come through for me in whatever it is that's facing you? Nyla on here said we need CoffeeFam journals. Nyla, noted. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Great joke too, noted.
Yeah, that was
noted.
I didn't mean to make that a joke, but I will take credit for it. Thank you, Will, for pointing that out.
That's fantastic.
I also had another point.
Francois put, since this seat can hold me, then why am I having a doubt in the creator of the universe and start questioning him in the middle of the valley or the storm? Since he did this, he will do that. I love that so much. I love when Tim also said that the without a doubt happens after the fact.
Right.
And I loved it because it gave me permission to have doubt while I'm in it, but to know looking back at it, like, God came through.
Absolutely.
God came through.
Absolutely.
What has been for you guys, I mean, you mentioned the jar that you have. What has been like some ways that you guys practically remember God's faithfulness? Do you guys take notes? Is it sticky notes? I know I have a friend that writes sticky notes all around, like she puts sticky notes in her wall all around the house and stuff like that. What are some practical ways that you guys remember God's faithfulness?
Well, I'm gonna give a shout out to Code Orange Revival 2016. Because when Pastor Craig Rochelle was speaking, he talked about his 5-year journal. And that next day I ordered a 5-year journal, and since 2016, every morning,
it's great.
I'm filling out that 5-year journal, and I'm on my second one.
But I was gonna say, I think you're past.
I'm on year 3. No.
Behind.
No, I'm on my second book, but the amazing part is like, when I'm writing this morning, I can literally look back at the last 5 years on June. What's the date? June 8th?
Today?
So I can look at June 8th and just see, like, 4 years ago, I wasn't even here.
Right.
And I can see the things I was dreaming for and praying for, and now to see, what God has given me the privilege to do. Like, for me, that's a very practical
Love
way.
that.
Mine is the digital version of that called Facebook Memories. I don't know if you guys know about this feature on Facebook, where they'll send you this notification and it just tells you on this day, every year you've been on Facebook. Here's what you posted. Here are the pictures that you have.
So are you posting on Facebook different things where it's like bringing it up?
Just like
the anniversary of the
anniversary of the
3 years ago you posted this.
3 years ago I posted this, and my wife and I are all constantly sending each other back and forth. Hey, this was on this is what we posted. We were celebrating something, so our first apartment 8 years ago.
Right.
Here's us on our first date 10 years ago. Here's us coming home with our second child.
Awesome.
And it's the digital version of that. And it always does this thing where it like helps me look at whatever we're facing now proportionately. Because the more I give my attention to something, the bigger it gets. Which is why I think David encourages us to magnify the Lord. Right, with our praise, that when we think about God, that when we focus our attention on God, God gets way bigger. And I think that's an important step for us to be able to take. And I think it's something that we can do together. Because David doesn't say, I magnify the Lord alone. He encourages us to magnify the Lord with somebody else. He says, magnify the Lord with me. I'll bless the Lord at all times, and his praise shall continually be in my mouth. All these practical tools for us to do so that we can continue to magnify God and make God bigger than what we're dealing with. And some of those memories are it, man. And I'm like, man, I remember freaking out whether or not we were going to get approved for this 2-bedroom apartment, and that was our biggest prayer at the moment. And I'm like, not only did God do that, but now he's done this, and this. So whatever I'm facing right now, I'm like, he's going to come through for it. He's done this before. Because he did that. Because he did that thing, he can do this one.
That's great. I got another one. Francois has got all the knowledge in here today, but this is one thing I wanted to talk about. He put this in here. Don't expect the angels to do for you what you can do for yourself. Doubt deals with me. Faith deals with the great I am. He'll continue to hold me up.
So good.
That was, I feel like the last couple of weeks I've kind of talked about some version of this, so clearly God's working something out in me on the way I pray and the things I'm praying for. But I feel like, I don't talk about this a lot, but like I'm a single woman. And so like, I remember even like having times where I would just pray like, God, like, do you have like, I'd love to get married one day. Like, who do you have for me? But it was one of those things where I was just praying and then just being like, God, would you just like drop someone like in my house? But I'm like, and like, not God can do that. Like, he's God. He absolutely can. But it was one of those things where I felt very challenged, where I was like, if I'm praying for this, I need to be taking steps. I need to be meeting new people. I need to be volunteering. I need to be connecting with the kind of people that I would want to, eventually marry one day. And so I think it changed my perspective on a lot of like the way that I pray for things, because I think for me, I feel like sometimes I pray kind of lazy, where I just want God to do like the easiest thing. But for most of the prayers that I pray, I have an action that can accompany the prayer. And that way when you just partner, faith and action. I mean, that's what it's all about. But I feel like God's just constantly working on that with me, where he's like, I hear you, but like also take a step of faith and like move.
And when you look at Peter, it's like, I'll break the chains.
Right.
But put your clothes on.
Yes. Like the way he talked through, like, God did this for Peter, but then
do that.
But then did that. Because he had to do a piece of it.
And if Peter doesn't do what he can do, then he's following an angel naked. And I think some of us will look back on some seasons of our life and I'm like, and I hope the kids are at school right now, so I wish I had a better way to say this, but I want to say it this way so that you really understand in the context of the story.
Right.
If Peter doesn't do a practical thing, he's running out of jail naked.
Right.
And that is what lazy prayers look like.
Right.
Rescue me, God, just get me, just take me out of here, just give me, Lord, you do it, you do it, you do it. And God is like, cool, I'll do it. Would you please put some pants on?
Yeah.
Can you just do the simple thing? Can you do the practical thing while God is going to, you're surrounded by 16 guards and in chains. Your chains are broken, but put your clothes on, put your cloak on, follow me out. And I love hearing that phrase that you just used. Sometimes I pray lazy prayers.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Lord, I'm dreaming for a house, so just
give me the house, God.
I mean, we can talk about
bring
that.
me the keys.
We can talk about that for the rest of the
Somebody's
time.
gonna bring me the keys one day.
Yeah.
And I've been so guilty of that in so many seasons.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like, God's still working on me with it.
All of us.
He keeps bringing it up, and then I'm like, gotta be
Like,
better.
Lord, I just want to be in better shape, God.
Oh, exactly.
Yes, please,
Like,
Lord.
are you gonna walk
God.
past the gym every day to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, listen. While I'm eating the bag of Lay's chips, it's like, Lord, I just really want abs, Lord.
You're usually like when you pray for like food, you're like, God bless this food, and it's just like nachos.
Yeah.
You're like, bless
Fried
this food
chicken.
to the nourishing of my
Nourishing
body.
of my body, God. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love what you said about him putting on his clothes, because if you think about it, God never asked you to do anything crazy or out of the ordinary. That's something that he would do every day.
Yeah.
So it's like he's gonna ask you to do the practical things. I know Pastor, I think
So good.
beginning of last year preached, and he said, you already know what you need to do to get in shape. You already know what you need to do to get mentally, spiritually healthy. Like, it's just the simple steps, and you just have to do it.
Gotta do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, well, you guys are putting up so much good stuff in the chat. I do want to give away a couple mugs to people who have been telling us their takeaways. And then we have some exciting announcements and stuff we want to, tell you. There's a lot of stuff coming up in our church. It's summertime, and you'd think summertime break. Not here.
Yeah.
We got
not at Elevation Church.
Not at Elevation Church. Did you guys have any that you want to, people you want to shout out in the chat?
I want to shout out Susan Richardson. It is her birthday today.
Yeah, Susan.
So, happy birthday, feliz cumpleaños, feliz aniversario.
Yes.
That's 3 languages.
Good
happy
one.
birthday in all the languages. And you know what, Susan? We're going to send you a mug. 'Cause
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow.
Why not? Happy birthday.
Nicole Townsend on Facebook. Let's get Nicole a mug, man.
That's great. Love that. And then, Edgar, why don't you pick one?
Let's see. How about Melissa Santos from Palm, Florida?
All right.
Let's go.
Perfect.
Let's go.
All right, you guys are all getting mugs. Congratulations. Also, we have a lot of people ask when we get to do Elevation Nights and other things, they're like, can I just buy a mug if you guys don't send me one? You actually can.
Now you can.
Yeah,
you definitely can.
Store.elevationchurch.org, and you can get it. And then I saw Grateful just said, I hope this is recorded. These stay up on our Elevation Plus YouTube page, and so you can go back and watch it if you miss it. They're up every single week, and it's one of our favorite times of the week just to spend time with you guys and diving in. Rhiannon said, how do I send you a mug? Great question. We're gonna put the address in the chat. All you have to do, once you send us the mug, once we get it, we'll send you a CoffeeFam mug right back. Or if you want a T-Fam mug, you can have one of those as well. They're very small, I will tell you right now. Holds maybe 2 ounces of liquid. Maybe.
But they come with the saucer though. Like it's pretty legit.
True. It does come
It's
with
legit.
a saucer, so makes up for it there. Okay, big things coming up. You want to start? Like, I think we all have different things we can talk about.
That's right.
But this is amazing ways just to stay connected this summer as there's so much going on.
Absolutely. Tim kind of touched on this in the sermon on Sunday, and I just want to echo everything he said. On July 13th through the 15th, we will be having Youth X, which is our summer camp, our annual summer camp for all of our teenagers, middle schoolers or high schoolers, ages 11 to 18, I believe. That'll be happening right here in at our Ballantyne location, which is actually where we're sitting right now. You can register for Youth X right now at youthx22.com. Right on the website, we've got financial aid available. It's $200 per child, but we do have financial aid and support available to you and your families. I just want to make sure, similar to what Tim was saying, because as a youth pastor, we get this a ton.
Right.
Where I have parents coming and like, I need you to call my child because they wouldn't come to church today. And I'm like, you're 12.
Your kid's 12.
Yeah. How did
this happen?
How did this happen?
That wasn't an option.
So this is a great space. If you're a parent, I just want to talk to the parents. If you're a parent and you got a teenager at home, like this is a great time to jumpstart, to reinvigorate them. And this is a great opportunity. We're gonna have all the fun that they could ever want to have. We're gonna feed them well, no matter what their food allergy is, no matter what they're gluten-free, bread-free. If they don't like ketchup, don't worry about it. We got all the stuff covered. But more than anything, there are going to be multiple worship experiences and e-group times happening for them not to just hear the word, but then get to really do what we do here at CoffeeFam.
That's right.
To sit down and digest it and talk about it with some peers and with the leaders. So make sure you get your kids signed up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, if you're EFAM and can't make it in person, we'll be live streaming the 4 different experiences will be happening during YouthX, just so you guys know you will have access to those.
But we definitely have we have over 100 youth that are coming from all around the world joining us.
Yes.
So it's pretty crazy that we'll be in the room, and so you still definitely have an opportunity to come and be a part. A bunch of EFAM that are coming over here. But speaking of EFAM, Ohio, we are coming to you.
Let us know in the chat if you are going to be at our Ohio pop-up. It is happening this weekend. And we are so excited.
What city are we in?
We in Columbus.
Columbus.
Wow.
But
my mom's hometown.
I tell people all the time, if Elevation Nights was just any indication, like I remember being in the room in Columbus, and like my mind couldn't like register the decibels, the volume.
It was nuts.
Because y'all just praise a little bit different in Ohio. And so listen, we're really excited. Saturday we're gonna be having outreach events. We're gonna be serving the community, and then Sunday, this isn't a concert or an event. We have in church, y'all. And so I'm very, very pumped. Make sure that you go to elevationchurch.online and click on that pop-up banner and make sure you get your tickets, everything. We're gonna have baptisms as well. It's gonna be truly a fantastic weekend. So be there, Columbus, Cleveland, Canton, Dayton, wherever you're at in Ohio, drive over. We're gonna be there.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Edgar, you gonna tell everyone about what's going on with you?
Yes. If you are a Spanish speaker, or if you just love listening to worship songs in a different language, giving you a heads up, this Saturday we're releasing Mercy in Spanish. It's gonna be on the Elevation Español YouTube page. So yeah, just be on the lookout. It's really sweet.
It's really good.
That's awesome.
You're leading that song, right?
Yeah, I had the privilege to lead it, and it's honestly one of my favorite songs. I mean, it's a testimony song, you know? It's just so beautiful.
I just tell people like things sound more spiritual in Spanish.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And so listen, if you don't speak the language, just even hit subscribe. Make sure that you don't miss out on that.
True. We got Stacey B said she's coming to Ohio. Can't wait to see you. She's volunteering. Stacey, that's awesome. Thank you. She also said OHIO, which we learned when we were there for Elevation Nights. All right, last thing real quick. I know we're wrapping up here. Elevation Worship's also going on tour this August. And so Elevation Worship, Carrie Job, Cody Carnes, gonna be a great night.
Let's go.
All across. I mean, they're going everywhere. They're in South Dakota. They're in.
I saw that.
I don't know why South Dakota is the only one I can remember. They're going to more than South Dakota. You go to elevationworship.com. All the information's on there. And I saw someone say, how do I volunteer? elevationchurch.online. We'd love to have you serve with us.
Absolutely.
This summer and this year. And we love you guys. This is like really one of our favorite times. And we do it every week. And so we hope to see you back here next week. And we will see you at church this weekend. Thanks for joining us for Coffee Fam.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
See ya.